So let's take a look at some triangles because I kind of gave you a little bit of that in the last video, but now I definitely want to give you a little bit more formal introduction to a triangle. And I know I'm very aware of Ethan Becker's the favorite triangle, as I think he called it. It looks something like this because it gives you the direction of your figure. And when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's absolutely brilliant because I had been doing my trapezoid, and I do like the triangle because the funny thing about the triangle is that there are in the book figure drawing design and invention. I'm going to put a bunch of links to stuff that I find useful by Michael Hampton. I know I got the book. I'm looking around because I know I got the book somewhere in here. He mentions like the triangle as a way to measure or looking at it as the space in the negative space, and he looks at the triangle, and the triangle just comes up over and over again in art. And if you think about it, a trapezoid, and that's my favorite go-to shape. It's a triangle. Also, the thing about the triangle is that if I took this triangle, right, these triangles, and put them right up against each other, and I cut the edges off, all of a sudden I got a box in perspective. Which, and if I did this, that's a triangle. That's another triangle, right? That's a triangle. So's that. And now I got this other box, a little bit more forced perspective. But triangles are also associated with vanishing points, which is also associated with perspectives. But I digress. So I do want to say that I do like triangles as vehicles, as tools. And by the way, I did take his the course that he has on Rad the Rad How To School. Excellent course, by the way. It's on the pricey side, but you get what you pay for. Definitely worth the money. I never felt like I never felt like, oh, I wasted my money with this. No, great course. Seriously, great course. I learned a lot of really awesome advanced kind of stuff there, and I learned some simple stuff. And he has a video on that, so it's not like it's something that I'm giving away that he hasn't gave away or hasn't discussed. But let's talk about just making a regular right triangle, just like this, and we can interlock. So it's basically this kind of a triangle. Let's practice this a little bit, and we can make this a kind of fatter, I guess. And there is, I'm looking at this book called Secrets of Drawing by Mike Hoffman. He also goes into irregular triangles and the kite shape, and he talks about triangles as far as framing the action of your figure. And it is some interesting stuff to where he has figures that look like this. And I'm trying to copy some of the stuff that I'm seeing here. But he puts all the figures in these irregular triangles, which I find I did not know triangles went that deep. So let's go to the other side here. Let's do a right triangle. All right. Let's make this a little bit longer. A longer of a right triangle because it could come in handy. And if you notice, what winds up happening is that I turn these into trapezoids. That's just kind of it's what my brain does. It just does it like that. So let's do one here. And now let's do I want to say this is an isosceles triangle. So it's basically, so it's not straight. It's two curves that meet at this point like this. So it's two right triangles up against each other, a short one and a long one. Please correct me because I've been I haven't been in school in a while. As of this recording, I'll be turning 48 this year, or will it be 49? I don't know. I don't keep track. Let's do this. And what you will see when we start going into the figures is that it doesn't it you will gravitate towards one of these. I just don't really do I've never really done ovals like this, I don't think. Like ovals for body parts. I don't think I've ever done that. I've always tried it. Like when it comes to ovals, I like straight against curve. And we're going to talk about that too. But let's go ahead and just kind of do a few more of these. And let's make some triangles like this that's a little bit more equilateral. Man, I'm hoping I'm getting this terminology right. Reminds me of a guitar pick or a shark's tooth. So these are my equilateral triangles. And we can do a longer one like this. And remember, for all my beginner artists, I haven't forgot about you out there. All right, let's do one like this. So I'm gonna do this, and yeah, let's just do this. And let's do one that does this. And then let's interlock one that looks exactly like it. And you guys kind of get, if you were paying attention to the very first section, you'll get what I'm doing here. So let's try over here. Let's do this the other way. Put a triangle right here. And let's put another slightly smaller triangle. And if you wind up making it a trapezoid, that's okay, because that's kind of what I wind up doing. And so now let's do this, right? A little bit more of a right triangle, a little bit more of that isosceles triangle like this. And let's elongate that a little bit more. And then let's make a little bit more of a triangle that does this. So we're going to interlock these triangles. And the next video, we are going to interlock a lot of these triangles. So let's try another long triangle like this. And then let's interlock that with a bar. I'm going to call this a bar. And that's our triangle. So let's try, I want to try one more of these. I want to do that isosceles triangle like this. Okay, and we're going to do this, and we're going to go around here. And then right here, we're going to put ourselves a bar. All right. So I just want to show you, you can interact with those. There's a lot that you can do with that. And let's take this a little bit further. Let's do another one of these isosceles kind of a triangles. I hope and I'm not going to look it up because I just don't mind being wrong. so, so now we're going to take that. You remember that bar that we did that looked like this, but it was thicker? So it's that trapezoid. But then we're going to round this off. Now, hopefully, your mind is starting to see like, oh, that looks like a leg. Oh, that looks like an arm. Oh, that looks like a torso. Yes, that's what we're doing. We're just taking our time getting there. And so some of you might even be going, wait a minute, what happens if I put a center line there? Wait a minute, what happens if I put a center line there? Oh my goodness, what happens if I take a center line and do like, what happens if I put this S curve like this? Well, then, yeah, it's exactly what I'm trying to do. But we just want to, it's the whole thing is doing everything in order, right? Doing an algebra problem is fine if you know how to do algebra, but you didn't just jump in and do algebra. You started to learn how to do simple math, add, multiply, subtract, divide. You got to know how to do those basic things, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. You got to know those basic things before you do algebra, right? And before you know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, you got to know what your numbers are, right? And you have to know the value of those numbers. So what I'm doing is just trying to put things in bite-sized chunks so when we start to put together the figure, it will be a lot more accessible to you, and you will know where you made the mistakes at. You'll look back and go, oh, wait a minute. You know what? My simple shapes, I wasn't making them as clear as I wanted to make them. Or, hey, I wasn't putting things together, or these exercises that I was doing, I need to work on these a little bit more. So you'll be able just to go back specifically to what you need to work on. And if you put up your work for a critique from me, then I can tell you what you specifically need to work on. All right, I'm going to stop talking. See you in the next video.